Hello, my friends. Good afternoon. I'm here at Ranch Masatal, which I spoke about in my first video as a place that really changed my life. And I'm back here for about 2 weeks helping out with some natural building work. So I'm here at the Pilón, which is the current big project that they've been working on. And it's a project that I've been fortunate enough to be able to come a couple times a year over the last few years and help out on. And so I'm just going to kind of give a tour of the building and share a little bit about the different natural building techniques that are at play here, and then talk a little bit about natural building in general and what I love about it and how I believe that it's one of the things that we can really change the world with. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm here at the front entrance. They've got this really cool bamboo archway for a very dramatic entrance and timber frame. The whole structure is timber frame. Um, there's some adobe brick walls and wattle and daub walls for most of the wall system between the timber frame structure. And we're gonna go look at that a little bit closer. I also got the core materials out here. So we got our straw here, and this is chopped up with a chainsaw, with a weed whacker, and a barrel. There's different ways to do it, but it's chopped up to a certain length so that it's good for using in plaster. We got our big sand pile, gives structure to the mix. It's like the strength, some good sand, and we've got our clay. Beautiful clay, silky smooth, and in different stages of processing it. So it gets soaked down and it gets sifted through these screens and then soaks in those barrels to get it into the right consistency. Here we've got adobe bricks making up this wall. And so these are formed in wooden forms. And actually, we can see there's some drying over here. There's some stacked up that are all dry. And here's some on the side of the building, and here's actually the forms. The forms, so you make the mix and fill the forms, and then stack them up to dry, and you gotta flip them so they dry evenly. And these bricks, then, it's really useful that you can make a bunch at once and then build the walls up with it. Here's some wattle and daub walls, and you can see this is the first rough layer of earth that goes on this bamboo lattice, this wattle. And you can kind of see here the shape of that still sticking through, and there's a little bit of bamboo there. And so that's the daub is the first rough layer, and then it goes layer by layer and gets smoother and smoother. And you can see up top here where it's got the level coat and it's smoothed out, and so that's going to be ready for the finished plaster. And here we can see more of the timber frame as well. These are big 8x8, and these are hardwoods. Pilón, which is the name of the building, out of love and respect for the wood that was used here. And I got the chance to help out with this timber frame, the 8x8s, which was a really cool experience because it was the biggest timber frame that I ever took part in. And so the whole first level is 8x8 for strength, and the second level up top is 5x5. And you can really see the joinery and the wood pegs that secure it all, the mortise and tenon joinery that fits together really neatly, the knee braces for the bracing and support. And yeah, let's come around. Some bamboo scaffolding, the bamboo archway. Really cool building. I mean, I'm biased because I love this place and I've gotten to work on this project, but I think it's one of the most impressive natural building projects that I've ever seen or know of anywhere in the world. Here we got a cool feature, this kind of live edge piece of wood, an entranceway. And here we enter into the Pilón. And it's kind of got this courtyard vibe in the middle. Here's these bathrooms and the showers and toilets. And then upstairs up to the second level. So again, here's the timber frame, the wood ceilings going in. This is the hallway, and I'll show over here in the bathrooms, actually I was working on today, the level coat of these showers. And so this is getting smoother and smoother. This is adobe bricks underneath here. So these are the bricks stacked up, and then it goes layer by layer. It gets smoother and smoother all the way to what can be a very nice smooth finish. This is a rammed earth wall. So this is different colors and textures of earth. It gets compacted layer by layer really tight. So it's another method. Really cool, colorful finish. And here we can go inside of the showers. There's a really cool spiral shape to the showers. And so this is actually what we were working on today, leveling out these shower walls. More timber frame details. Beautiful, beautiful building. And really just a testament to what can be done with natural materials at scale, and also a testament to what you can achieve with just a lot of effort. It's been a lot of work. It's like 3 years now of working on this building. They're hoping to have it done this year, but it's just really like day in, day out, step by step, effort, 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 piece by piece, step by step. And this is such a deep lesson that I've been learning over these last years since I started in this work. Like, nothing worth having really comes easy. And not that it has to be hard either. You find the joy in it. You find your presence. You find yourself in that kind of work. You know, really meaningful work, really beautiful work that you can connect with, that feels right when you're doing it. You find your breath, you find your presence, you find the movement. And that's the beauty of it. You can feel then that energy in the natural building. You feel it, and when the building is complete, when you sleep in that building, when you sleep in that room, you can feel that energy. All those hands, all those hours that went into it. It's a beautiful feeling. This is the upstairs level that's a lot more finished. So this all has that level coat. It's kind of dark in here. And it's got the floors on, it's got the ceiling. We can see better out here. This smoother level from the level coat. It's ready for finished plaster. And you can kind of see how that finish is going to look. You know, this will be a smoother finish, but with the reveal of the timber frame, the colors of the natural materials, the natural oranges, reds, browns, yellows of wood and of clay. It's beautiful. It feels right. Of course, you can dye with natural pigments. You can have fun colors, different colors, but I love the natural earthen colors. And here, I was kind of making some other videos that will come out later of this, where we were working on doing the level coat here. And this is preparing for a cool workshop that they've got coming up to do a really artistic finish, a clay carving artistic thing for the entranceway here. So that's a little bit of what's going on here. And now I just want to sit and talk for a minute or two, a little bit more about natural building. You know, I worked in construction for a few years after college, and I was in that conventional construction world. You know, I was doing project management, and it was buildings that were totally conventional, you know, really industrial materials. And after a few years of doing that, you know, my heart was calling me back towards my path, back towards working with the earth in some way. That's what I felt, that the earth was calling me back. And I was getting tired of watching other people build stuff. And I really wanted to build something myself. I really wanted to work with my hands. And I really wanted to build things better, in a better way, in a more sustainable way, and with more natural materials. And that's why I originally wanted to come to the ranch, was to learn about these things. And you know, my impulse was right. Like, that's exactly what I wanted to learn. And that is what I learned here. And I really do believe that, in a way, you could say in order to clean up this world and all the mess that we're in, we've got to get a lot dirtier. This I really believe, you know. And it doesn't mean that like we need to be filthy and don't have good hygiene, but look at me. I'm filthy right now. I'm gonna go shower later. But if you never get dirty in your life, if you're always clean, if you're always in a sterile environment, I think that's bad for you. I think that's bad for us as humans. I think we need to get in the dirt. I think we need to get in the mud. And I think that this is a way that we can think of things, of how to improve our lives in a way, to get dirtier. Get dirty in the garden, get dirty in the building of your own home. You know, at least not everyone has to be a builder, not everyone has to build their own home, but everyone can be involved. Everyone can be more engaged with our basic needs, you know. I think the reality is the modern comforts that we all enjoy so much, that are so enticing, we enjoy that at the expense of others. So the fact that we can live our whole modern life without ever getting dirty, without ever getting our hands dirty, is because someone else is doing it for us. You know, someone else is doing that hard work to grow our food for us. Someone else is doing that hard work to build our house for us. It's okay to hire someone to do something for us. I'm not saying that like we all need to do everything ourselves. That's not how human civilization or culture works. But there's something real to be said about engaging with the earth, engaging with the processes of our own basic needs that connects us back to our humanity. And I really believe this. Um, Something that I like really love about natural buildings is the energy that you feel, like I was kind of talking about. You can feel the energy that goes into the building, and this is something that is like that my teachers here kind of really impressed upon me, is that the energy has to come from somewhere. And modern industrial construction materials, a lot of that energy is coming from fossil fuels. A lot of energy in the industrial manufacturing process is coming from fossil fuels, whether it's the products themselves that are petroleum based, or whether it is, you know, metal that is being mined, very fossil fuel intensive, very destructive for the earth on its own, just from the mining process, or whether it's like a certain product like drywall, or like vinyl, plastic, like all of these products that are made in this global industrial system really use up a lot of fossil fuels. And so that energy is coming from there. And with natural building, that energy is coming back to the human energy source. You know, the human effort, the human energy of digging up the clay, digging up the sand, mixing that, and then applying it, refining with your own hands, with the human energy. And like I was saying, like you can feel that difference. You can feel that difference, just like with anything, like the difference of cheap mass-produced junk versus handmade, like artisan-made. You can feel when someone has spent time and energy making something with their own two hands. And I think that that's the way. I think that that's the way forward. It's kind of the way back, you know. And I do believe, like, not in the sense of like doomerism, or like of a fear-based thing of like, you know, it's all gonna come to an end and we're gonna be struggling to survive. We need to like go back to these old ways of doing things, but rather that kind of no matter what, these old ways are going to come back, and we can choose to bring them back with love and with joy and with respect, of honoring old traditions, by coming back to these old ways of doing things. Like, we've been building with mud and with earth for a really, really long time, like as long as we've been humans. You know, like that maybe is even like where we start being humans, is when we start making shelter for ourselves, you know, outside of just like sleeping out in the wild and the unknown, you know, and we start to like settle in place, or even start to build a shelter for ourselves. And some of those early shelters in a lot of places on earth were mud. And to connect with that old tradition of humanity, of creating shelter for ourselves out of mud, I think is a beautiful thing. I also think that there's something really therapeutic about clay. You know, talking about also energy again, like the mineral aspect, like something that we gain from the physical thing itself. You know, like I really, every time, it's kind of a running joke now, every time I'm like here, or every time I'm doing natural building work, like I cover myself in clay, like as much as I possibly can. I cover myself. You know, you rub it all over your skin. It's like a spa day. It's like a beautiful spa experience. And your skin feels so good afterwards, and you can feel the energy of it. Like, it gives us something. We absorb a lot of stuff through our skin. It's our largest organ. You know, more and more research is kind of coming out about like how much we actually absorb through our skin, a lot more than we think. Um, and I feel that from the clay. It's hard to feel depressed when you're like covered in clay and like slimy and dirty and like covered in it. It's like riding a jet ski, like that classic joke. Like, it's really hard to be depressed on a jet ski. It's really hard to be depressed covered in clay. I guarantee you'll be giggling. If you need a laugh, like, find some clay. You know, from any clay. You can go down to any river and find some clay and put it on your face, put it on your body. I guarantee you'll be giggling by the end of it. You'll be having a good time. Likewise, you know, the sand, it's like exfoliating, like the straw. I don't know about the straw. The straw can be maybe a little bit irritating sometimes, but yeah, it's a really therapeutic in and of itself. It's a beautiful thing, and I think that's just the reality of connecting with the earth. Like, the earth wants us to get dirty. The earth wants us to get involved, wants us to touch and be alive. You know, we experience the world through our senses, and this tactile sense is so full. And I think that's a lot also of what we lose in modernity, and cleanliness, and this like separation from things, from the natural world, you know, is this like sensation of touch and being really connected to what's actually around us and to the life that's all around us. These are some of the things that I love about natural building, and I'm passionate about this. I'm gonna keep sharing. You know, I'm starting to take more videos. I have some videos from the last year or so of some cool natural building projects, so I'm starting to edit those together. I'm gonna start sharing them, and I just want to spread awareness of this. I think it's still very niche in a way. Like, I think most people probably don't know that this is even an option. You know, we get caught in this like normative idea of like, this is how it's done. You know, in America, like stick frame, drywall, this is how it's done. This is how you build a house. It's actually not the only way to build a house, and there's an older way and a better way that we can return to. So I feel very passionate about this. I'm going to keep spreading the word. I'm going to keep shouting it from the rooftops. Get dirty, get yourself in the clay, and share more about how to do that, because it's actually like not hard. It's not rocket science. You know, it is an art. It's a craft. It takes a lot of practice to get really good at it. But to get started, it's not hard at all. You can literally go into your backyard and dig up some dirt, wet it down, and make something with it. You know, it takes a little bit of time and some practice to get to be able to make something really beautiful and really refined. But even just that experience of getting into something and it not being good is very liberating. You know, there's something also about I was like talking a little bit about in the first video, like the way that natural buildings can grow. They come alive. They can be an organic thing, like ourselves, you know. And through the process, I've had this experience now many times of working on a project, a natural building project, and I change throughout the project, not just in my learning, but in my like experience of myself. You know, it's always teaching us something, like teaching us to let go of perfectionism, teaching us to let go of being hard on ourselves, teaching us that it's okay to make a mistake. We can always wet that spot back down and reshape it. You know, we can always come back. Clay is very forgiving, and it teaches us forgiveness for ourselves. So there's so many lessons that we can draw from it, like I was sharing before too, like consistency, you know, the lesson of showing up every day, coming back to it, like persistence, dedication, you know, shaping step by step, layer by layer, like when we build with adobe or with cob. You have to have patience. You have to go just step by step. But you can't put the 5th layer of brick before you put the first 4. You know, you got to go just bit by bit and step by step. Just like with everything else in life, you know. There's no rushing the process. And the more that we learn to breathe and enjoy the process, the better our experience of life is going to be. So these are some of the things that have come to me, you know, through my experiences with natural building, and I'm going to keep sharing more as they come. So I think that's good for now. Thank you so much for watching, and you know, let me know if you have had similar experiences or if you're interested in experiencing this for yourself. Pretty soon I'm going to start having space available for people to come down to the farm, come down to Costa Rica, and get a little taste of this if you're interested. So stay in touch, like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz, and yeah, there'll be more very soon. All right. Cheers.